What a treat, what a treat, what a treat. I am Dr. Zach Master Barber. Here's a Q&A session with 3 professional network marketers. Here we go.
Jermaine Sandifer. I'm a barber by trade, and I'm a shop owner as well.
Yeah, my name is Greg Willis. I'm retired. I did air conditioning and refrigeration for the West Los Angeles VA. I also had my own business, Compton Refrigeration and Air Conditioning. I use that word retired, but you don't really retire, you just redefine your life.
My name is David Simpkins. I'm a financial professional.
How do you handle negative thinking or self-doubt when building your network marketing business?
You want to start to be around people that are brighter, smarter, and hold you accountable. So you want to be around sharp people. If you're the strongest person in the room, the smartest person in the room, you need to get out of that room. You need to get out of that room and get around people that are sharper, brighter, doing bigger things to uplift you. Because the only way you're going to learn, the only way you're going to develop, self-develop, is being around sharp people, sharp-minded people.
Mr. Greg Willis, question for you. How do you handle negative thinking or self-doubt when building your network marketing business?
Personally, for myself, being an entrepreneur and raised running a business, my dad's business, I had to deal with a whole lot of that. And a big part of that is you have to get in there and do it and get beyond those no's. You know what I mean? And David's correct. It has to be, it comes from within. Me being 100% service-connected combat veteran, I had to do a lot of work on self, and that working on myself, dealing with those issues gave me a whole lot of self-worth, self-esteem. And so for me, it was just another step when I got into the network marketing business to get over the no's. You know, you're gonna get a lot of no's. And being confident in myself and being confident in the product gave me that drive I needed to press on.
For Jermaine Sandifer, what motivated you to start a network marketing business?
Good question. I don't know if I was motivated to actually learn about the network marketing industry, but once I saw it and understood it, I was very motivated. It's the best business model that's out there. And I want to also add, once I understood and studied the industry, I applied those tools and knowledge to my life and to my other businesses. So the industry itself, how you can build a network across the world and get paid 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's no other industry that can compare to that.
Mr. Simpkins, what motivated you to start a network marketing business?
Freedom. That's plain and simple. Freedom. Okay. I spent my time in the military, and my bottom line is freedom. I didn't want to have to serve and listen to anyone anymore tell me what to do. I didn't want anyone anymore to control my destiny. I realized that my destiny was really my own destiny, and if I was going to get to the end of what that destiny for me was dictated by, I needed to be the one to initiate and do the thing that I needed to do. So freedom, total freedom. I didn't want anyone to dictate my salary, because they dictate your salary, they dictate your quality of life. The military, by the way, taught me that. I learned that in the military. After being in the military for the length of time that I was, I decided that when I got out of the military, I no longer wanted that type of regimentation surrounding my life, especially my occupation. I didn't want that to dictate that. So that was a big cause for me, freedom.
Jermaine, how do you build and maintain strong relationships with your team members?
Great question. The best way to do it is always be engaged with your team members, your group that you're involved with. So the best way we do it is we have Zooms 4 or 5 times a week. We have trainings twice a week. I call, they call me. I'm always, well, not always, but I try to be available as much as I can. And it's always good to build those core relationships with your brand partners. It's very important. And I learned this from Greg Willis, if you sign up somebody and bring them into the organization and then you never groom them, you never pay attention to them, you never help them, they're going to quit. It's very vital that you plug in, and if you're not able to, because at one point your organization will grow to hundreds to millions of people, you're not going to be able to help everybody, but you have an upline to plug them into a system that you can plug them into to make sure that they nourish.
Mr. Greg Willis, what motivated you to start a network marketing business?
I'll be honest with you, man. I got involved with the network marketing business about 11 years ago. And the motivating factor for me was the health issue. It was a product that was health-based, and I'm all about health. And that's what really motivated me to get into the business. It wasn't the financial at first. It was dealing with my health. And then once I got involved, I saw that financial potential, and I'll be honest, I was retired. I have a good retirement. I made sufficient money. That really wasn't the thing. But when I saw that I could help other people become financially stable and at the same time deal with their health, man, that was the driving force for me to really go deep into the network marketing business. And one other thing too, Jermaine mentioned, man, and Doc, you always talk about this, reading the different books, listening to Miles Monroe, Wayne Dyer, Rob Kiyosaki, those type people that deal with what David alluded to, dealing with the mental and who you are as a person, getting well-rounded and well-versed in all that, and how I could fit that right in to now helping thousands of people. What a blessing.
David Simpkins, how do you handle negative thinking or self-doubt when building your network marketing business?
Well, that's a great question. Bottom line is, I think that all starts with your character, okay? Because you can't give something that you don't have. So the bottom line is self-doubt, that it coins itself, self-doubt. You have to work on that. You have to build your own character up so that doubt is eliminated. Doubt is, we're talking about mind now. When you talk about doubt, you're talking about a person's thinking. You have to work on your thinking. You know what I mean? We're all born perfect, and then we're raised imperfect. So we have to work on that, because basically what we're working to get back to is how we came here originally. Right, that feeling that we had, that fire that we had when we were initially sent here. We have to work our way back to that, because for a lot of us, it's been inbred out. So the bottom line is you have to work on your thinking, and you have to do things to reinforce the positive aspect of your thinking. And as you do that, you'll drown out the negatives.
How do you build and maintain strong relationships with your team members?
Right. Once again, great question. I'm a people person. I always have been. And I think that's a real key element if you're going to be in the network marketing business. It would help if you are a people person. And then I was listening to what Jay said. And Dave said something in a Zoom meeting that we were on a couple of days ago. And he made us realize that this is your business, and you need to know about your business. And that was real key. And Jermaine mentioned this. My method, I'm a people person. I believe in eyeball to eyeball with the person. I physically go to the person. I engage with them. I show them the video. I introduce them personally to the product and to the industry. And I think that's what is a key. It's something that Jermaine said that's so true. And Dave said this, the freedom. If I'm not teaching my team members like I've been taught by you, Doc Zach, by you, Jermaine, and recently by Dave, if I'm not teaching them how to build their business and what to do, then that's going to infringe on my freedom. They have to know how to do what I do. What I do has to be duplicatable. And if that happens, your business grows exponentially. exponentially. And Jay said it, while I'm asleep, you know, my business is thriving, doing what it's doing. If I started properly the right way, and that's hands-on. That's eyeball to eyeball with each and every one that I personally patch and bring into this industry.
Awesome, man, awesome. Mr. Sandiford, how do you motivate yourself when facing setbacks or failures in your business?
Great question. And I have to be mindful that setbacks are going to come. That's just part of life. Okay. So if I ever come across some setbacks or frustrations, I lean on my business partners, such as yourself, David Simpson, Greg Willis, Truck, people like that. I lean on them to keep me balanced, to keep me focused on what the task is. And because I know what I know, I get back on a horse, on a saddle, and get back to riding, because can't nobody tell me what I believe in is not true.
Yeah.
So I focus on what I believe in. And again, you're gonna get flustered in this business. That's just part of it. Because like Greg Willis said, people don't know what they don't know. So they try to convince you that you're doing is not right. But again, they don't know what they don't know.
How do you motivate yourself when facing setbacks or failures in your business?
Well, that's a great question. I've already prepared at the beginning. Okay, I know where I'm going. I know why I'm going, and that's it. I don't allow anything else to interfere with where I'm going. There's always going to be things that are going to try to pull you away or off the course of what you decided you're going to do. Yeah. You have to decide at the beginning how you're going to deal with those things when they come, because they're going to come. You already know they're going to come. But if you wait until they come to deal with them, sometimes you're going to get tripped up. They're going to get you. And what I mean by that is we drift. Drifting is a form of being lost, of not having direction. That's why they call it drifting, right? Yeah. That means you've lost your direction. Well, you have to have plans on how to stay on course, because things to cause you to drift will come. Life happens, as they say, right? Life happens. You got to be prepared for that ahead of time. And that's what I focus on. And that's what I teach my members of the team to focus on. Staying focused on the activities, on the income producing activities that are going to get you where you need to go. As long as you focus on that, the outside stuff will stay outside.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Greg Willis, how do you motivate yourself when facing setbacks and failures in your business?
I'll give you a prime example. 2 days ago, my car failed on me. And my transportation is real vital at this point in me growing my business. It threw me a curve. So I had gone round and round with my mechanic, repair after repair. My son told me 3 years ago, Dad, I didn't want to know. So I was trying to hold on. So it crapped out on me. Immediately the next day, I rented a car. And then the day after that, I wouldn't buy a car because I realized, okay, I got to bite the bullet. I need suitable transportation to get around. Yeah, life's going to happen. And the thing is, what are you going to do about it? I'm focused on this business at this point in my life. I'm focused on it. It's not like the product that we have, and I'm going to touch on that, everybody needs this. Everybody, regardless of where you're at in life. And I'm focused on that. And I'm driven to put my best foot forward to touch as many people as I can. And I'm gonna say this, for me, not so much the financial, but for the health, man, for the health and well-being of people. This is a phenomenal thing that we've come across. The financial is gonna come if I do it correctly. That's gonna come with the work that you put in, the effort, the energy, the out there knocking on doors and introducing people to that product. That's gonna take care of itself. The thing that really drives and motivates me is I'm seeing people's lives change right in front of me.
Yes.
Right in front of me. That way, I don't pay attention to the no. The people that tell me no, they don't know that they don't know. Yes. And what I tell them is, just stay right there, like Doc, like you gave me. I don't cross them off my list. I tell them, I'll see you down the road when you all hunched over and in a gang of pain. You know what I mean? So that's that driving force for me.
Mr. Simpkins, how do you build and maintain strong relationships with your team members?
Well, I think the first thing is you got to get to know your team members. You got to spend time with them, quality time with them, doing things other than necessarily the network marketing thing. If they're key members of your team, you got to practically move in with them. You got to get to know them. You got to get to know their likes, their dislikes. More importantly, you got to know why they're doing this. You got to know why they're involved in this, and they have to trust you enough to share their core with you as to why they're doing this. Because when they're able to do that with you, then you're able to put them in a position to win. So it's important to learn about your people and to build a relationship with them, because you're going to be winning with these people. And you want to be able to help them. The better you know them, the better you're able to help them. And when I say know them, knowing what they want here. Okay, because what they want here will determine what they're able to give, and thus what they're able to get.
How important is personal development and mindset to your success in network marketing?
My God, Doc, that's a multi-layered question, but I'm gonna say this, and David kind of touched on it. If I'm not whole within myself, I have to, all the things that I've been through in my life, the military, the PTSD, the combat, the streets of Compton, all those things, if I'm not addressing those things in my life, getting the help to understand those different things and unpacking those events in my life, then I'm not going to be equipped to move forward in life, let alone this business.
Yes, sir.
There are millions of people out there that have gone through some type of situation in their life, and it's totally derailed them. We see them every day on those bus stop benches and pushing carts. It was something devastating that happened in their life that derailed them. And that's going to happen. Jay just said that those type of things are going to happen. The thing is, what do you do about it? I've been fortunate, man. Because of my military, I was able to get the mental help that I needed. And then having a great father who I listened to coming up. Not everything, but he gave me a lot of truths. And I revisited those truths later on down the road. When he was giving them to me, what did he know? He an old man. I'm doing this a different way. So it was that development along the way, man, that enabled me to be stable in who I am as a person, to know that I can tackle anything. I can tackle anything. How do you eat an elephant? A bite at a time. You know what I mean? A bite at a time. And that came from the grooming and the education and the mental soundness that I've been able to get along the way, which is going to make me an awesome person in this network marketing industry, as well as yourself. And that's what it takes.
Mr. Simpkins.
Yes, sir.
How important is personal development and mindset to your success in network marketing?
It's everything. It's everything. If you're not growing, you're dying. And the only way you're going to grow is by adding things to yourself to grow yourself. As I mentioned earlier in the conversation, I talked about character. Your character is developed by your experiences. Listen, I don't need to, if I can pick up a book and learn through the book the experiences of someone else, that's as valuable as if I lived it myself. I'm very fortunate that I learned that early on around being around other people that mentored me and taught me these things. All right, I didn't always understand these things and didn't always know these things, especially in my younger years. But I'm so grateful and feel blessed that I spent the time around quality people that cared enough to instill in me these things, and the information needed to know that you need to develop yourself. You need to read. You need to continue to build yourself up. Basically, what you're continuing to do, or what I'm continuing to do, is bring value into myself. To bring value, to make myself a person of value. And the way to do that is to enrich myself from the inside out. Again, like I said earlier, you can't give something you don't have. You can imitate, but the bottom line is that won't stand up to the pressures of what life has there for you. It has to be real, right? It has to be real. And if it's not real, life will show you what you really got, right? So I prefer to work on myself from the inside out, and you do that by reading and self-developing, because your thinking guides your direction. It's really as simple as that. And it's very funny how simple something is and how challenging it could be to stay on it. You know what I mean? But it's your thinking that develops that. And so if you do things to enrich your thinking, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
What advice do you have for someone struggling with negative thinking or self-doubt in their network marketing journey? Mr. Sandifer?
Great question. And with my experience, I was a person that didn't read, didn't listen, didn't participate. So when I listened to my mentor and showed me that avenue, I started to read. And what I mean by reading is reading books that are self-development books, not just reading novels and things like that, something that's going to help me grow. So as I began to start to read and I start to listen to audio and I start participating in trainings and events, I became a better me. And once I became a better me, I became effective. And I was able to do this industry, this business, better way than I could ever do before.
Mr. Willis, what advice do you have for someone struggling with negative thinking or self-doubt in their network marketing journey?
Well, that too is a loaded question, Doc. Right off the top, what I would tell a person who's in this industry and suffering with that, it's a whole lot to go back and try to get that self-worth, self-esteem, or to read those books. Knowledge alone is not enough. They got to plug into a higher source. That's what I would say. But I would say this to a person. Lean on the tools of this business. You don't have to know everything. You point your person to the tool. You rely on the stuff that's already in place. You don't have to know everything. You point them to the tools. It's good if you do know. Don't get me wrong. But that's not the end all and be all. There's a combination of things that makes me a better person. And one of the big things is living life, going through some things, going through some things. The reading is well and good, but the coup de grace is what you grow through and go through and grow through. And then by all means, the reading, I love that. The Rob Kiyosaki's, the Miles Monroe, the Wayne Dwyers, all those folks have some beautiful beliefs and philosophies that work and has worked for them. And as Dave said, I can pick up from that. But if you come from a place, like I just heard Jay say, come from a place that I come from, mother dying at 4, father raising 5, working 2 jobs, the older sister has to step in. A whole lot of that stuff, the reading and the teaching and you miss. But living life brings you to that point, to where I'm at today, where I pick that book up, where I absorb what those mentors and folks are trying to give me. Man, Doc, not to beat y'all's drum, but Doc, you and Jay, man, I've been knowing you for 11, 12 years. I lean on that friendship. I pull from what you give me, because I'm actually a baby in this thing compared to you guys and to David. For what I'm understanding, he's not a stranger to this industry either. So I don't get too big to learn something. But getting back to the thing, a person that's struggling with that, lean on the tools of that business. It's already there for you.
Mr. Simpkins, what advice do you have for someone struggling with negative thinking or self-doubt in their network marketing journey?
Well, that's a great question, and I would definitely tell them, as far as their spiritual walk, I would ask them about their spiritual walk, because I believe that's an important aspect of our lives, and I would ask them about their spiritual walk and see where that's at. But the other thing I would do is, if they were in this business, I would employ them to start working on themselves. I would implore them to start reading the books and start building again that character from within, so that they can start feeling better about themselves. Because you can't expect a person to do something here if they don't feel good about themselves. Because if a person doesn't feel good about themselves, they're not going to expose themselves in situations, especially with other people. So you've got to help them shore that up first. And listen, you know, I think that's one of the beautiful things about this business, because guess what? Most people we deal with are damaged. Remember what I said earlier about the fact that we're working our way back to whence we came, right? Well, the bottom line is we've got to be able to repair people, okay? As we repair ourselves, because there are no perfect beings here. The last one here is gone, right? So we have to work on ourselves, and as we do that, we have the strength to help people work on themselves. That's what being a leader is all about. Not that you're perfect, but that you're moving in a direction, and you have the wherewithal to bring people with you, with what you've learned and what you've grown, have gone through, right? So that's what I would do. I would have them start working on themselves. I would have them work on their walk, because you're not walking this earth alone. You might think you are, but you're not. And I would help encourage them to find their faith. Okay, and then finding their faith, help them develop their character from within to know that who they are. Okay, who they are. They're a child of God. And they need to know that and never, never, never forget that. No matter what happens to your left or to your right, you go in the direction that God is sending you. You can't lose.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Simpkins, I'm going to ask this question to you. What are some common mistakes to avoid when building a network marketing business? What are some common mistakes to avoid when building a network marketing business?
Well, that's a great question, Doc. I mean, there's probably so many mistakes that are made, but from my experience, one of the most common mistakes is not knowing what you're doing, not understanding, being naive. Okay, and people, if you understand the definition of naive, it's being in the middle of something and not understanding what's around you. Yeah. So if you're going to be involved in this business, you have to understand this business. Okay, you have to be, so it's really simple. You have to master your craft. Yeah. If you're going to be in this business, in this industry, then you have to understand what this industry calls for you to be successful. It's really simple, again, really simple, but difficult, because people get caught up in the flashy things, and the things underneath that really keep the wheels moving, they neglect. Okay, and those are the things ultimately that keep your business strong and keep it moving. Okay, right? That make those flashy things possible. You know, all right? So that's what I would say. You have to work on that. You have to be able to work on that and understand where you are, what you're dealing with, right? Know your business. Know your business from the inside out, right? Every business has a system. Do you know the system? Do you understand the system? I'm not talking about just the S and the Y, the complete system. Because as a leader, if you don't know the system, then you can't teach the system. Okay, so that's what I would say.
Okay, Mr. Sandiford, what are some common mistakes to avoid when building a network marketing business?
One of the biggest common mistakes is people comparing themselves to other people, looking at the success of other people and trying to, the jealousy, why I'm not doing what they're doing. And be mindful, everybody go at their pace. So if you see somebody doing better than you, you imitate and copy what they're doing. Ask questions, find out what they're doing and make them successful, and then you'll become successful. But don't, what I call, player hate on somebody who's doing well and you're not. Do not do that. Do not make that mistake, because your time is going to come. You just got to put in the work, the time, and the effort, and it's going to happen.
Awesome. Mr. Willis, what are some common mistakes to avoid when building a network marketing business?
For myself, I'll say the first thing is thinking you could do it alone. Thinking you could make this happen by yourself. No way that's gonna happen. That's totally selfish. And that would be the first thing I would say. You can't do this by yourself. You have to lend yourself, as Dave said, to the system, to your brand partners. You have to lend yourself to that. Get involved. Yeah. You got help here. You're not doing this by yourself. You're doing it for yourself, but not by yourself. And I love that about this business. You could be ignorance on fire and be rolling and learn as you go. And Jay, man, I totally agree with what you were saying, man. You and Doc have always been uplifting of me and what I'm doing. I've never had a hint of jealousy. I've always edified you both, man. And as I edify Dave, that as I know him and things that he do, you know what I mean? And that's the key with this thing. You can't be selfish. You know what I mean? You can't be selfish, and you gotta get out. And Jay said, you gotta do the work, man.
Mr. Simpkins, how do you maintain work-life balance while running your business and building a team? How do you maintain work-life balance while running your own business and building a team?
Well, that's a great question. That's a really great question. And you know what? I'm blessed. First of all, I'm a baby boomer. So I'm not strapped with children, young children, and the responsibilities that go along with raising young kids, because that's a huge load, right? Kids are busy, man. They are busy, and they keep their parents busy. Yeah. So as a baby boomer, I'm past that stage now. And then I have a supportive household. So basically, like I told you earlier, when I choose a direction, everything about me and about what I do supports that direction. So I don't have to worry. I can build my business or my responsibilities around my business. Because see, this is the thing I understand. This is a marathon, but it's in stages. So I'm in the first stage right now of this particular venture. I have other ventures that I'm further way along in the stages, but in this particular venture, I'm in the first stage of this venture. And I understand that there's a certain amount of work, a certain amount of a strategy that has to go in the beginning. Okay, so I'm dedicated to that. You have to decide how much time you're going to put. I figure 60 months. Okay, that's my game plan. 60 months. In 60 months, I'll be able to transition to a totally different existence in this particular business structure. Okay, totally different existence in this particular business structure. So to answer your question, I build my responsibilities around where I'm going, and right now I'm going to SPD. And that's my focus right now. So everything about what I'm doing is built around that.
Mr. Sandiford, how do you maintain work-life balance while running your own business and building a team?
That's the beauty part of this industry. I can do this from anywhere in the world. And one example I like to use is our upline, Onyx Cole. We were having a Zoom call that she runs. And she was able to get on a Zoom in the comforts of her car while she was out helping her daughter purchase her first home. A regular job won't allow you to do that. You won't be able to operate at a regular job when you want to do something as significant as helping your child buy their first home. I can be on the beach in Baja, I could be in New York, I could be in Florida, and I can still operate this business from the comforts of a cell phone. You know, so it's that simple. I prioritize, family stuff, and then I work my network marketing business around that, because family, my religion, is first and foremost. Then come the business. So be mindful of that when you take a look at this opportunity.
Mr. Willis, how do you maintain work-life balance while running your own business and building a team?
Well, Dave said I'm a baby boomer as well. 72 and proud of every minute of it. So, but I have 7 kids, 22 grandkids, and 3 great grandkids.
All right.
So my life is really full. I'm involved here where I live. I'm the president of the resident committee. I'm involved with Veterans Group. I'm involved with NAMI, National Alliance on the Mental Illness. So for me, to answer that question, I'm gonna answer with 2 words: time management. Time management. I love what Jay said about you can work this business part-time, full-time, or in between time. That's the flexibility of network marketing.
David, this is for you. What are some common misconceptions about network marketing?
Common misconceptions.
What are some misconceptions people have about network marketing?
In my experience, some of the most common ones are that, everybody works for the people at the top, and, it's a pyramid scheme, and the people at the top make all the money and you don't make any money. No one teaches you anything. They just take you out and go through your market and take all of your market away, and then they leave you without any skill set. Those are the common misconceptions. Okay, but I get there's a little caveat to that though, because misconceptions are tricky, because a lot of times the premise of misconceptions is truth, right? Something really happened, okay, that wasn't right. And people were able to construe it in the manner in which they did, and then it became what we know as a misconception. But there was some truth at the center or the core of that misconception. And so I think that, that's why it's so important to do things right? Especially in this industry, because this is not the traditional industry of, with a 9-to-5 job with the traditional dynamics that go with that. And that's what most people are used to. So when they take the faith and the courage to step out into an industry like this, it's very important that they have a good experience. Because what we're talking about right now is why people have bad experience, right? And a bad connotation about network marketing. It's because of the people they interact with.
Yes, sir.
Okay, in this field. The people that don't know their field well, that didn't study their craft, that don't, that don't do things right. And those people have those experiences with those people, and then they judge network marketing through that prism. Okay, that's a false prism. It's not real. It's not real. So so that's why it's important for us as leaders to set the bar high for ourselves, which in turn sets the standards for our people that come behind us, so that things are done right.
Mr. Sandefur, how do you find and recruit new prospects to join your team? And what strategies have you found most successful in building your downline?
Great question. So what I did was I got a piece of paper and a pen, and I built a list. I was taught to build a list, write the names down, because when you write the names down, you might come across one particular name that associates you with another name, so that's an extra name you could put on your list. So I build a list. And then I pre-qualify who I'm gonna call first. Now, as a professional network marketer, I'm looking for two categories. I'm looking for people who could benefit from the product, and I'm looking for business builders. My business builder list are gonna be people with influence. People with influence that has a huge Rolodex. You get them in your organization is gonna take off. You still need the consumers, because the business is built off of consumers. Everybody on what we call subscription monthly, that's how you get paid. So that's how I operate.
Mr. Willis, what are some common misconceptions about network marketing that you've experienced from people? Common misconceptions.
Once again, great question, Doc. And Dave hit on it. One of the first things that I come across with people, it's a Ponzi scheme. It's a pyramid. It's, only the people at the top get rich. And when I hear that from people, what that tells me about that person is this. They're not used to doing no work. They looking at all the reasons why it don't work, but I bet you if you look deep in their life, they don't really they're living mediocre. And that's okay if that's the way they want to live. And I don't let that derail me. You know what I mean? And what I can say to that is, I don't take them off my list. I don't force them. But you can best believe they're going to see from my success and my help.
Mr. Sandefur, what characteristics and skills do you consider most important for success in network marketing?
Well, the number one for me is you have to be coachable. You have to be coachable. And what I mean by that is you cannot come into this industry thinking you know it all, because we learn it every day. Now, I learn from upline, I learn from downline, I learn from cross line. Every day I'm trying to get a new nugget to put in my armor. Every day I'm trying to get a new nugget from whoever it is that I come across. You have to be coachable.
What characteristics and skills do you consider most important for a successful network marketing business?
Great question, Doc. That's a great question, because guess what? It does take a certain skill set. It really, to be really successful anyway, it takes a certain skill set. Okay. Characteristics. There are characteristics that seem to have more favor in network marketing, at least, than others. But I don't think characteristics are as important as skill set. Okay. I'll give you an example of what I mean. A military person that comes into multi-level marketing, they have the characteristics of a military person are suitable for network marketing. Okay. And it's obvious because some of the reasons, the discipline and things like that. Okay. That make that obvious. Okay. That's a characteristic. But even with that characteristic, you still need a skill set.
Yes, sir.
To be uber successful in network marketing. If you want to be average, yeah, you can be average. But if you want to be really successful in network marketing, you need a skill set. And that skill set is particular. Okay, it's very particular. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. I think there are 7 basics that you need to know as a skill set in network marketing. The first one is prospecting. Okay, because this business is called what? Network marketing, which means you better be able to network or you're going to have a challenge. Okay,
yes, if
you can't bring in new prospects, you're going to have a challenge. So that being said, the second important point is contacting. You got to know how to contact people. Right? When I say prospect, that's getting a phone number. But after you get that phone number, what do you do with it? You got to contact that person. And that's where a lot of things break down at. Okay, so that's another skill. The other one is qualification. What do I mean by qualification? I'm not going to spend my time with somebody that can't be involved with what I'm doing. If they can't benefit from the product I'm offering, I'm talking to the wrong market. I need to move on to someone else. So I got to qualify that person before I burn all my time up and realize, oh, I'm talking to the elevator operator and not the manager of the building. You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
The second thing is, after qualification, presentation. I've got to be good at presenting my information to the person. This is my shot to shoot my wad, right? This is my shot to prove my point, right? So I have to be really good at my presentation. That's a skill set, okay? Presenting brings out objections. I got to be able to handle objections sufficiently enough to get through and be able to get to the next point, which is closing. If I can't handle objections, then I'm not closing. Now, for a lot of people, closing has a bad connotation to it. And I want to explain really quickly. When I say closing should mean to you getting someone happily involved with something that's going to be beneficial for them. Helping someone make a decision, leading someone in a direction that they wouldn't have made themselves because they didn't have the information, and now you've given it to them and taken them to a better place. That's what I mean by closing, okay? And guess what? As a professional, you should be able to close. Closing means you help someone. And if you don't close, that means they didn't benefit from your product and you didn't make any money. And then the last part of that, the 7th, is getting referrals from people. Okay, you have to, if you want to keep your business moving, and if you're training people keep their business moving, then you better be able to get referrals from those people when you take them out in their market to do your business. You better be able to get referrals for those people so they can keep going. So those are my 7 basics, Doc, of what I think a skill set that people should have in this business. If they master that, they'll be successful.
Mr. Sandiford, what are some common misconceptions about network marketing you've experienced from other people? Misconceptions.
One of the biggest ones is that the people above you make all the money. And through my experience, I found that to be not true. I witnessed people that came in way after people before them and wind up passing up not only rank, but also as an income, right? So I'm gonna give you an example. There was a gentleman that was in another company I was involved with. He had a meeting set up and he had 6 or 7 individuals in this house at this event, this meeting. And each and every one of them went up in rank and became millionaires. Past the individual who invited them, all of them passed him up. And he was in before them. But guess what? That person that invited him, his income was solidified. Because everybody that I bring in, I want them to pass me up. Why? Because that brings stability to my income. The more money they make, the more money I make. So get that misconception that all the people at the top make all the money or they came in before me, I can't pass them up. Believe me, I've seen it multiple times. People come in, and wind up passing up people that came in before them. And it's all predicated on what you do and how you do your business.
Man. Mr. Willis, what characteristics and skill do you consider most important for success in network marketing?
And here's my basic. For me, you got to be a people person. If you are not a people, and it goes back to what David was saying, if you're not some kind of self-fulfilled in yourself, you're not going to do well in the network marketing business. You have to be a people person. For me, you have to be a people person. And all the things that I've heard Dave say and Jay say, all those are incorporated in there. I believe in eyeball to eyeball with a person. I believe in looking them in the eyes when I'm showing them, when they're watching that presentation on my phone, when they're watching X39.com, and I'm looking at their facial expressions and this, that tells me a lot. That tells me a lot. That's going to weed out the haves and the have-nots. I love this industry. I love LifeWave. My God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Some here that truly God sent.
Yes, sir.
Well,
how do you find new recruits and prospects to join your team, and what strategies have you found most successful in building your downline?
well, because this is network marketing, right?
Yep.
My strategy is to make sure, first of all, that I'm skilled at network marketing, right? My ability to approach people. And by the way, I built my team every day with everybody everywhere.
Go ahead.
Any place I am, my antenna is up. I'm looking for people. I'm always looking for people, right? So every day, everybody, everywhere I am, I'm looking for people, okay? And when I see someone that I want, I approach them. Okay, and I start a conversation. Now that's a whole nother skill set, but I start a conversation. But my point is, this is network marketing. So first and foremost, I need to know to do exactly what you just said, how to approach people cold and start a conversation with them and not put them off. My goal when I approach them is just to get a name and a number. I'll follow up later. I'll make contact later. Like, remember I talked about my 7 basics. So when I prospect, all I'm trying to do is get a name and a number. I'm not trying to sell them the farm. I'm not trying to sell them the technology even at that point. Get a name and a number. Pique their interest enough, have enough credibility, enough likability, if you will, that they give me a phone number. And then I follow up with the phone number. Now, that being said, let's say I didn't have the necessary skill set to make contact, recontact. That's when I would plug into my skilled upline and use them as a third-party reference to plug into my recontact with this person and get the ball rolling. Okay, but my first and foremost, as a prospector, I got to get the phone number. So I think my skill set, my strategy is to work with people that I can develop that skill set with so that they're willing to do that.
Thanks for tuning in to this Q&A session with 3 professional network marketers. Please leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Till next time, peace.